Hello everybody, this is Strawberry Singh, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a quick tutorial. I don't know how quick it's going to be, but I'm going to try and go through and show you how to use OBS Studio to live stream or record your Second Life game and stream it onto or upload to YouTube. So I'm not going to get into all the details about different streaming softwares and what I use and how I do it in this video, but if you look in the description of this video, you'll find a link to a blog post, and you will find more information in the blog post. First you'll find my style details and all that, and then you'll find out other different software that I use to edit and so forth, and also more information about OBS Studio. And everything that I'm going to tell you right now is going to be written out in my blog post. So if I'm going too fast for you or anything like that, you can click over to the blog post. Again, that's in the description of the video for a written tutorial. Okay, and before I begin, I do want to say I've learned all of these settings and so forth after reading and watching like a million different tutorials and trying to understand how all of this works. So with that being said, I'm not a very technical person, so I did my best here to understand and use my experiences with streaming and recording so far with OBS. So if you have any other suggestions that you think will be better for streaming or recording with OBS, by all means, please feel free to leave it in the comments of the video or the blog post. Share your knowledge. I'm always open to learning myself. Okay, so before we start, what you want to do is first you want to download OBS Studio. OBS Studio is a free software that you can go to download from obsproject.com. It is absolutely free to use. Download it's open freeware, and so once you download it and have it installed, you will have it when you open it up. It's not going to look exactly like this because I have my preview screen and scenes and sources all set up already. Yours will be completely blank here and blank in these two little windows that I'm pointing at right now. So when you load that up, it's going to be blank, and I am going to show you how to get into the scenes and sources after we go through the settings. So first thing you want to do is go through all of the settings. Now to get to the settings, you can click the settings button right over here and it'll open the settings, or you can go to file and then settings. Okay, so I'm gonna go through each tab really quickly, or not so quickly. You can copy whatever I have here, but I'm also going to go and explain everything that I have here. Now in the first tab, which is general settings, you want a lot of these things are pretty straightforward and will be based on your personal preference, especially when you start experimenting with your sources in the main window, which I showed you earlier. And so you can take a look at what I have here. These are just personal preferences. This is not going to affect your streaming or your recording, so go with whatever you feel like would work for you. And how this source alignment snapping is going to be for when you have different sources in this preview, and you can minimize them and expand them and so forth to show different sources. So I like to keep that enabled, and I like them to snap to each other in the edge of screen, but you can of course go with what you prefer here. I don't want to hide my cursor and so forth, but again, like I said, go ahead and enable or disable whatever you like. I'm using the dark theme. The default theme is very white and bright and kind of hurts my eyes after a while, so I'm just letting you know that I'm going with the dark theme. The next tab we have is the stream settings. This is very important because you want to set this up for streaming to wherever you want to stream to. In this tutorial, I'm only covering YouTube gaming. I'm not going to cover Twitch and so forth, and I actually don't recommend you to stream Second Life to Twitch because Twitch is known for banning people that streamed Second Life on there. So before you do that, make sure you look into it. I stream to YouTube, and that's what I use. So for stream type, you will pick streaming services. For service, you will pick your service, which is YouTube Gaming. For us, this doesn't have to be checked, but I have it checked anyways. I go with YouTube, the primary YouTube ingest server, and then the stream key. Now to get your stream key, what you need to do is you need to go to your YouTube channel. And you want to go, when you're logged into YouTube, you want to go to your little profile over here, and you want to click Creator Studio. And in Creator Studio, you're going to go to this live streaming tab on the side here. And once you get there, you scroll all the way down, and in the encoder setup, you'll have the stream name and key. So you hit the reveal. I'm not going to hit that because I don't want to reveal my stream key to, the video. And you copy that stream key and then you paste it into here. And you want to always keep this hidden, and you want to make sure you don't share it with anybody, because when you do that, anyone is able to stream to your YouTube channel. So make sure you always keep that private, the stream key. So once you've done that, you're all set up to stream to YouTube. Next tab we have is output settings, and in output settings, the first thing you want to do is change output mode to advanced, so we can really get into the nitty-gritty here. And the first tab I'm going to cover is, of course, the streaming tab. Now, the audio track, unless you are using multiple audio tracks and later when you're editing your video, your output, you want to split them up and mute one of them, like say you're on a Skype call or something while you recorded yourself and you don't want the Skype call to be in your video, you can have multiple audio tracks and then edit or mute them out later on in your editing. I don't really do any of that. I don't mess with multiple audio tracks. I just stick with one, and whatever the recording is, I go with that. But you can set it to different audio tracks, and I'll show you how to separate those and name those later on in these different audio tabs. For the encoder, you want to go for X264, which is more stable, and for online streaming, this is the recommended option. And then you want to check enforce streaming service encoder settings, so there's no issues wherever you plan to stream, okay? And then for rescale output, I like to stream at a lower resolution than my base resolution, which is 1920 by 1080, and I know YouTube easily takes 1080p, and you can as well, but my upload speed is not always the best, and sometimes I notice I was lagging and so forth, so I've scaled it down to 1280 by 720, and I keep it at that, and it seems to be working well for me. If you feel like you have a better connection or a better computer or whatever, so you can make it higher, you can go to 1080. YouTube does take 1080p very easily, but I like to scale it down and keep the lag and the stream and so forth low, so I keep it at 1280 by 720. And basically it won't overload your encoder or your internet connection. I also have a lot of things running, like Second Life, different things when I'm streaming, so it kind of gives it a little bit of a break. So next thing we have is rate control, and in rate control you want to click CBR because it makes the encoder always run at a constant bit rate no matter what the scene. And then the bit rate, the recommended bit rate is 3500, but this also depends on your upload speed. So if you feel lag on your stream, you can lower this, or if you feel like you can go faster, you can raise it a little bit. You can check your upload speed at speedtest.net and calculate according to that and go higher or lower, but the recommended usually is 3500. And then next thing we have is the keyframe interval. You can leave this at 2. It doesn't really make a difference for YouTube, but I know for Twitch they recommend that you put it on 2, so I've put it on 2 anyways over here, but you can keep it at 0. It's not a big deal. Now, this setting is very important, the CPU usage preset. This setting tells OBS how much CPU processing power to use and is dependent on the power of your computer, okay? So the recommended setting is very fast, and I've left it at very fast. But if you have a very powerful computer, you can set it to slower, and that will use more of your processing power and make your picture look better and all that. But it'll also increase your lag and it'll affect your performance. So if you don't have the best computer, if you have a really older computer or something, go with ultra fast, and so you don't have any too many lag issues and so forth. I keep mine at very fast, and it works pretty well for me. And next thing we have is profile. Recommended setting is main, because main and high profiles deliver better quality video than baseline profile. However, the stream becomes more difficult to decode for older smartphones and tablets, so main is good for most modern smartphones and tablets, whereas high is best for bigger screens. So stick with a main because it gives the best quality with better decode options. To tune, the recommended setting is none, as the other settings do not apply to live streaming very well. And the variable frame rate, leave unchecked because a constant frame rate is preferred. And this one, it should be left blank unless you are familiar with these options and you know what to type here, but I leave it blank. So now we're going to look at the recording tab. In the recording tab, you want the type to be set to standard. And this is just your recording path, so whatever folder you want your video saved at, I have it saved at this folder. You can browse and change it to whatever folder you want it saved at. This I'd leave unchecked. This is for your personal preference if you have it to generate file name without space. Now, the recording format, the default they have is FLV, but I highly recommend you change that to MP4. It's always recommended that because, especially if you plan on editing the recording, with FLV and other formats, what you're going to have to do, they're not compatible with editing softwares, and then you will need to take an extra step to convert that FLV file to a MP4 before editing so you can record smoothly. And so just stick with MP4 to begin with, unless your computer is having issues for some reason recording in MP4. I can't imagine why it would. So just stick with that, so it just goes faster. Now, audio track, you can use this option to choose which audio tracks you want to include in your recording and or edit them out later. So this is what I was talking about before. If you have more than one audio, like if you have a Skype call and so forth, you can choose which audio you want to include. Like if you have your Skype call set to 2 or something, the audio set to 2, you can uncheck that and so forth. So you can look more into that if you want to mess more with the audio settings, but usually you don't need more than one audio track set. For the encoder, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, then you want to select this NVENC H.264. Like I have, if you have an AMD or another graphics card, you'll choose the one that's named that. The X24 you want to leave for streaming in case you are recording and streaming at the same time, which sometimes I have done, so I have a backup of it just in case. Okay, and then for rescale output, I don't mess with this when I'm recording because I want it to record as my whole resolution, and then when I'm editing or uploading or so forth, I can rescale it down myself in my editing software. So when you're recording, you want to record the biggest possible that you can, so leave that unchecked. You don't want to rescale it. Custom mixer settings, again, I leave this blank. If you know what to put here, then you can feel free to do that, but I leave that blank. This is just a warning because I've changed it to MP4 over here, the recording format, and the reason I tell you that is because if for some reason in the middle of your recording or something you lose power, then it won't be saved properly, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't really happen to me often. If this is something that you have an issue with, losing power a lot, and so maybe you want to stick with FLV and look for a converter, so that'll save you time in the future. So, but I don't mess with that at all. Next, we have rate control. So the rate control, just like the streaming tab, this should be set to CBR because, again, it makes the encoder always run at a constant bit rate no matter what the scene. Bit rate should be set anywhere between 25,000 to 40,000. So the higher the number, the better the quality of your video, but the larger your file size would be and the more taxing it will be on your computer. I usually keep mine at 30,000, but you can experiment with yours, but I think 30,000 is a safe bet. Keyframe intervals, for recording we don't need that. There's no need for that, so you can just leave that at 0. For preset, I leave this at default, but you can experiment with it to improve video quality if you want. Profile, again, I have this at main, same as the streaming tab. Level, I leave this at auto, and you do want to use, you can check this option to use 2-pass encoding to make your video look slightly better while making your file size smaller. If you are streaming and recording at the same time, though, you may find some performance issues, so you can uncheck that then. GPU, I leave this at 0, and B-frames, I leave that at 2. And then we're going into our audio tab. Now the audio bitrate 128 is the lowest that you should go set this to if you want, if you don't have the best connection and all that. The higher that you set it, the better quality sound you'll get, but the more bandwidth it'll use. So I keep mine at 192 for recording purposes. If you have a better mic, like if you have one of those high-end mics, go crazy, boost it all the way up. And so forth. If you feel like there's lag issues or something, then you can maybe bring it down. But I keep it mine at 192 because I just use a simple headset and it works for me. And you can, if you have different audio tracks, you can name them different things like Skype or whatever, you know, microphone, game, Skype, whatever, so you know what the different audio tracks are, and then you can, you know, in editing you can mess with them if you want. So those are all the output settings. Now we're going to go to audio settings. Now for audio, you want to, this right over here is you want to set this sample rate as the same as your microphone settings, which you can look up in your recording devices for your microphone. So you can do that by right-clicking on your microphone, going to recording devices, and then right-click on your microphone and go to properties, and then go to advanced. And over here it says I have a 48,000 and so forth. So I'm going with 48 over here, and you can look that up, or you can go with 44 or 48, whichever one you prefer. And this channels you want to keep on stereo, of course. A desktop audio device, I've set mine as default because I want to pick up all of the audio from my mic and my computer and everything. You can change the setting to just pick up one or two things, like just your mic or whatever, but I left it at default. I don't have a second audio device, so I've disabled this. My microphone is my headset, which is this one, and I've picked that one. You can pick your headset or your microphone, and again, my other two audio devices are disabled. Now I don't use these microphone and desktop audio settings because I don't want to enable push to talk, because then I would have to you know, press a key, whatever hotkey I choose, every time I wanted to pick up my talking, and that's inconvenient for me. I just want to, you know, press record and talk. So if you would prefer something like that for your streaming, then you can enable these, but I don't mess with these settings. So that was all of the audio. And then for video, next tab. Now this would be your base canvas resolution, which is, you know, your screen resolution, and mine is 1920 by 1080. You can, you know, set whatever yours is, and the other one is my second monitor that it's showing. Now again, for output scaled resolution, you can lower this resolution to, you know, 1280 by 720 if you're only uploading to that, but you shouldn't do that in this video. You should only do that in the stream, or, you know, the recording or the output, the stream or recording tabs, because you want this to be set to the maximum, because this is the actual video. So you know, maybe one day you'll want to, you know, have the whole recording whole screen. So you want to make sure that you don't scale this down. You do the scaling itself in the stream or video tab, not in this the recording tabs, not in this video tab. And then next thing is for this downscale filter. Unless you have a very old computer, you want to keep this at this Lanczos sharpen scaling 32 samples to make your picture sharper and, you know, the best looking. If you have like a really old computer or something, then you could go down to one of these two, but you can, you know, easily should be used at this. Now this one is a little bit tricky, the common FPS values. 30 frames per second is the default, and it captures normally, you know, normal pace movements quite well and in a natural way. This is where I usually keep mine at 30. I don't know why it's set to 60 right now. I keep mine because my upload speed is not the best at times. So if you're streaming at 720 or lower and you have a good upload speed, then you can, you know, boost it up to 60, and you probably won't, you know, notice any lag difference or anything like that. And what it'll do is it will capture more details of emotion than 30 would. So you can mess with this. You can try 30 or 60. I think I've kept mine at 30. One day I'll try a 60 and see if it really makes a difference. But for now, I've been using 30, and I haven't really, you know, I think my videos look okay, but you guys can give me more advice on that. The hotkeys I don't mess with. This is personal preference. If you want to set up your hotkeys, feel free to do so, and it's pretty, you know, straightforward over here if you want to get into that. The advanced tab. Now you want to set this process priority to above normal, and then in the rendering over here you want this to this set to Direct 3D 11, because the other option, which is OpenGL, may not perform as well. I leave this blank because I don't use a video adapter. If you use it, then you can play with that. Color format, NV12 is the preferred setting over here, and the YUV color space should be set to 709. But if you have issues with it, then you can, put it down to 601, and the color range should also be full again, but if you're having issues, you can make it down to partial, but you want to make sure both of these are up there so you get a proper color on your picture. Audio monitoring device, you want to leave this at default. Recording, the file name formatting is their standard, and I didn't mess with that, so I leave that as is. I do not want to check the overwrite if file exists, because I don't want to accidentally overwrite any files. I'd rather it create a new file. Replay buffer, I've left this at default, which is replay, and the suffix should be blank. Stream delay, I do not enable this because stream delay is most often used in competitive games to help prevent someone from spying on you by viewing your stream to get an unfair advantage over you. So I never participate in things like that, so I never use this option. But the rest of these will be grayed out if you don't enable it. But if this is something that you're into or you're looking into, you can find it over here to enable it if you need. Automatically reconnect, you want to enable that. You want to make sure this is enabled so you can reconnect streaming automatically if you lose your connection for a little bit, if your net drops or something. The retry, these are just like, it's going to keep trying every 10 seconds to reconnect you, and then it's going to try up to 20 times to reconnect until it gives up. So you can change those numbers around if you want. I think that was just the default, so I've left it there. And then the network, I've left this at default. I'm not messing with any of this. So now we've got all of our settings done. We can press OK and exit out of there. So when you first open up OBS, you're going to have a blank preview. This is the stream preview over here, and then you have scenes over here, and you have sources over here, and all of this will be blank. You won't have a picture here, and you'll be wondering, how do I start recording my screen and so forth. So what you want to do, what they've done is they've given the option of setting different scenes. So what you do is, like, you want to create a new scene first. You can call it, okay, I'll just call it scene 2. And in this scene, I want it to grab a source. So I want it to grab just my game. So just Second Life. So if I say game capture, and then there's a new one right there, or I can, click on the existing, and then I press OK, and then it's going to be showing me this just Second Life and nothing else. Okay. So this way you can switch through different scenes if you're streaming different things. The first one I've done is I have a 2-monitor setup. So this is my primary monitor. On my primary monitor, you see the OBS window here, and you see Second Life over here. Right, and then if I lower it, you can see my desktop, and you can see my little icons and so forth all around. You can see everything that's on my first monitor. And then if you go to my second monitor, you can see that I have my Camtasia recording going on right now, which I'm using to record this video. I've got my notes over here that I've been looking over about OBS, going through my notes to show, go for the video and so forth. This is my browser. This is just a browser just showing, and what I did was I can move this. Remember when I was showing you the snap to sources? I can add more sources to this if I want to add something else, like an image. Maybe I want to add a welcome to my stream image. I can, if I don't have one available right now, but if I had made one, I could have clicked on it, chose the image, and put it over here. So I could have a lot of different sources in one scene. This is just my game. So this is Second Life right now, right here. This is showing my game, which is kind of frozen. So let me bring that back up. So this gives you, like, options, like say, let's say I'm streaming in SL and something comes up, that I don't want to show on my stream. So I can quickly switch over to my second monitor, which is showing my browser, or something like that. So that's what this is helpful for. And there's different things that people use these scenes for, but you don't need to like go all out and go create a whole bunch of scenes. You can just create one and just capture one monitor. So for this one, this is my display monitor, and I met plus, and then I did, said capture this display, and then for my second monitor I went plus and I captured that display, capture 2, and so forth. So you can choose what you want to capture. Once you have what you're capturing, that like this is what I want to stream, I can start streaming, and it's going to start streaming to my YouTube channel, and you can see it streaming and all that. I can also start recording. I can put it into studio mode, which I don't really use. I guess this is for, like, you know, transitioning and different things, but I don't really use that. And that's it. And that's it. And once you've recorded your video, or once you've streamed, if you're streaming to YouTube, it's going to get automatically uploaded. And you can, you know, you don't have to worry about uploading it afterwards. If you're recording, then you can download it and you can edit it, and then you can upload it to YouTube to, you know, at your preference. And a few things that I wanted to mention when you're going, before you go live, you want to just go back to your you want to go to your live dashboard that I was showing you before. You want to go to live streaming and just fill all this information out, you know, so you can schedule your next stream on YouTube. So make sure you go into the live stream section and you fill all this information out, so you're all set for your live streaming whenever, you know, upload a picture, background picture, or whatever, and you're ready to go. And then that's it, and you can start streaming and recording SL. Now, I am going to be doing a vlogger challenge very soon today. I'm going to post it just a little bit later, maybe an hour or two after this post. So now that you've learned how to record and stream, you can do the vlogger challenge if you're up for it. You'll find a link to it in my blog post. Again, that'll be in the description of this video. And again, everything I'm wearing and all that will also be in my vlogger challenge blog post. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys participate. It's been a while since I did a challenge, so it should be a lot of fun. If you have any more questions or any more suggestions about this, about OBS Studio, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm always open to learn and pick up new tricks and tips. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.